Hello my friends, welcome to a beautiful day in the metal shop. It's about 70 something degrees here, so I'm going to take advantage of the nice weather and we're going to take a little diversion from our normal project here and work on something else. You guys have all seen my toolbox here in other shots. I haven't really talked about it, and quite honestly, in my opinion, I love toolboxes, and this should get its own video, and it probably will someday. But this is basically a really old, well, from the 80s Mac toolbox that I took and cleaned up and painted. Later on I got the top box, painted it. Doesn't quite match, but whatever, it's a toolbox, it's fine. But this started life as, you know, a regular red toolbox. We painted it with a house of colors, kind of a candy orange, and so on. And I've also gone and painted my little work stand here the same color. Did a really nice job on that. And I also painted my engine stand here. That's a 302 out of a Fox Body Mustang. Project for another day, much more another day. This came out excellent too, and I actually did this in that rolling work stand with those Preval sprayers with paint I had left over from the talk box. So real automotive quality paint. So what are we doing today? Well, hang on a second and I'll show you. So recently, you know, working on the Cobra, having to do a lot of metal work, lots of drilling and fabrication, not necessarily stuff that I super enjoy. I really felt like I needed a drill press, and I didn't want to spend a ton of money. The freestanding drill presses, you know, the tall ones going to the floor, are pretty expensive, so I figured I'll get a tabletop one, and I found this one on Facebook Marketplace. Really nice Craftsman, lots of nice features. Guy bought it brand new, hardly used it. Anyway, really super good deal. I mean, I think I paid 140 bucks for it or something. Super good deal. But I don't have any, if you can look over there to the mess, I really didn't have any bench space for it. So I thought I'd make cheap out and just build like a quick shelf for it. And then I said, no, why don't I get like a little toolbox side cabinet, something perfect size to put the drill press on. So I picked this up at Harbor Freight. And this is just a US General 14.5-inch end cabinet. And they had them in orange. And even at my local one, and we live kind of rurally, don't have the, you know, the biggest Harbor Freight, but they had an orange one in stock. And so cool, so I can paint this to match the toolbox and all the other stuff that I have. And then when you open it up, you're gonna see, it's not, of course it's not gonna be quite matched, but you'll see orange on the inside. And what I found through doing the toolbox and the engine stand and the rolling work top bench there is this stuff is all powder coated. Powder coat is an excellent base for paint. Really all you need to do is scuff it. A friend of mine owns a body shop who did those toolboxes, said just go over it with 220, give it a good, you know, good sanding, knock the sheen off it, and it will take paint great. And he was 100% right. That's all I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna go over this box with 220 and I'm gonna paint it. And I picked up paint from Automotive Touch-Up, and what this is it's actually like an 04 Nissan color. Was the closest paint match they could get to that House of Colors, you know, kind of candy orange, whatever that was, that hot rod orange on the lower box there. That's what we're all trying to match up to. So I've knocked off these little handles. I left one on just to show you what was there, but I just, you know, put a screwdriver and a hammer and kind of tapped it off. When I paint the front here, I suppose when I put it back on, it may scratch up the paint, but guess what? It'll also cover it as well. This is nice. Came with drawer liners. Comes with a nice pad here for the top. I put it on, that's just a car, like a wheel dolly, actually probably a Harbor Freight or a cheap Tractor Supply wheel dolly, just so I could wheel it outside for the sanding and the painting. And the drill press will fit on top perfectly. So just really quick, what I'm gonna do, oh, and if I have enough paint, I've taken apart my my little wheeling seat, my little rolling tool cart seat there. If I have enough paint, I'm going to paint that, and I'll cover that red pad with some black vinyl left over from the Cobra. Just kind of a, you know, neat little trick, little accessory there. But what I'm going to use this old sander. I have tons of these sticky 8-inch sanding discs, so I'm going to give this a try. Not the really exactly the proper way to do it, but a lot better than doing this by hand. So let's wheel that cart outside and get to work. All right, so there's a sander with a disc stuck to it. Work the trick. I mean, seriously, I have 15, 20 minutes. This side sanded. Again, this is just a nice flat surface. So this side sanded, and then, you know, you wipe it down with a rag, and you're going to eventually use solvent, and you're looking for shiny spots to get, again, with the sander or get by hand. And honestly, look at that. I don't know if you can tell, there's no shiny spots. I mean, this made quick work of this powder coat. The hard part is going to be the front, where I was able to get this surface with the sander, and of course this is the surface that chrome piece slides over and you don't see anyway. So it's going to get painted only because I'm not going to be able to not paint it. But I'm going to have to get these other surfaces. Maybe I can pull this out, get this surface with a sander. Probably not, because it's going to want to push in. So I'm going to have to get these surfaces by hand, clean it, and then we're ready for paint. Did run into pretty thin there on the edges, as to be expected. I'm not even going to paint this surface because there's a nice pad that goes here. Again, it'll get paint to the edges. But again, the pad and whatever. There's a lot of it that's getting painted that you're never going to see. The back, you know, maybe that side. So anyway, so let's crank up some tunes. I'll sit in the chair. Wish I had my little rolly chair, the one I took apart to paint, and get to doing some hand sanding and paint. It's a little windy today, the change in the weather, because it goes from being, you know, in the 50s to the 70s. That change in the weather brings in the wind, so I'm a bit concerned about that when it comes time to paint. About it, you know, the wind will blow your paint away off your project. So we'll see. So we're just about ready for paint. We got a bunch of the sanding, most of the sanding done, all of the sanding done. So you want to dry clean, go over it with a cloth, you know, a rag, a clean rag. Dry clean all the dust off first. Then you're going to wet clean it with, you know, rubbing alcohol or glass clean or something like that. But we're looking for shiny spots here, like along this edge. Now this is the back, so it's not really super critical. But if you watch my channel, then you know one of the things I say frequently: paint doesn't stick to shiny. And basically, sorry for the wind. What we're doing here is, if you tried to paint this powder coated surface, you're putting a flat coat of paint onto a perfectly flat surface. Eventually, it's going to peel off. What we're doing by sanding it is we're creating tons of microscopic grooves in the paint, and you guys understand this. And then now the paint that we're putting on top of it will flow into those grooves, and it literally has, you can double or triple the surface area of this plane here by sanding it. You can't really see it to the naked eye, but microscopically it is there, and that will cause the paint to physically stick to your surface. And we've also sanded here. Again, I've told you I'm not going to paint the top because there's a nice ribbed pad that covers this, but we've sanded all the way to this flat here because I want the paint to adhere to that crack. We don't want it to start to paint to lift here and it'll lift up through there. So every surface that you want to have paint stuck to has to be sanded. So what I'm going to do is we're going to wet clean this. I use rubbing alcohol and a clean rag, and then we're ready for paint. Awesome. Covered in orange. Ugh, like a Cheeto. Oh! Alright, so we're going to have to take a break so I can fix those finger marks. Like I said, I need to be careful to only touch the inside of the drawer there, so yeah, let's pause. A little frustrated, had to move quickly. What the problem was that I figured out, first and foremost, the orange as a base coat doesn't work nearly as well as the red. The orange, Nissan Orange paint did not cover very well. It didn't go very far. It's very opaque. Secondly, I learned that the tips supplied with Automotive Touch-Up were garbage. I took this tip off a can that I used to paint the Hertz Gold from Color My Auto, and oh my God, what a difference. You saw I touched the paint a couple times by mistake. I was able to get that corrected. I got quite a bit of spattering. It more or less kind of evened out because I was wearing gloves, and I wore the gloves so that I could touch the underside of the drawers to move those in and out. I'm famous for my finger gets over the tip and it causes spattering, and that's on me. That's on my technique. So what I really focused on was getting the front completely covered and looking super good. Next was this side here, because those are the only two sides that will show, and you can even see it there. You can see a little bit of tiger striping. So what I figured was also using the Preval sprayers with actual premixed paint covered much better, applied much better, because the engine stand that I did in that wheeling cart came out much, much better than this. And that's probably because they were red, used the Preval, so I did a bunch of things different. Didn't come out as good. This side, even a little bit more tiger striping, doesn't matter. Where I'm gonna put it, you're not gonna see it. And the back, by far the worst, because I just ran out of paint. I only bought 2 cans. I kind of cheaped out, and what I should have done was bought 4. But what I'm going to do is, I really just want to get this in place in my workshop and set up. So I'll jam it in there with the drill press on top. Well, the whole thing needs to be clear coated first. I will do that, or maybe I will just, probably what I will do is I will clear coat the front and the side that came out presentably that you're going to see. I'll leave the other sides. I'm going to buy a little bit more paint, and I'll go over the back and the sides, probably never, with the Preval. So, but overall, it's a toolbox. You know, it's not a car where, you know, if you touch it, you get spatters in the paint, you get whatever. It's ruined. It's a toolbox. It's going to get dirty. It's going to get dung up. It's going to be what it's going to be. So I'll leave with this. You guys don't really need to see me clearing it. It's just a monkey wandering around and spraying clear coat on it. Did I say I was able to turn chicken excrement into chicken salad with this? Because I feel that I did. All right, my friends, thanks for watching. I hope you appreciated this little diversion in the metal shop from working on cars to working on, I just had a ladybug land right on the lens of my glasses. That good luck? I hope so. Get. Appreciate your support. Please give me a like. Please hit subscribe if you are new to the channel. I'm trying to pump out the content, trying for one a week, one every couple of weeks at the very least. And I truly, truly appreciate your support. Hit me up in the comments. Still respond to all my comments because I don't get so many that I'm inundated with it. All right, got to go clean all the Cheeto dust off of me and let this dry a little bit, and we'll do some clear. All right, my friends, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.